I'll state the obvious things first. Mathurin was spectacular, especially in the fourth quarter. 28 points, 16 rebounds. I mean, the guy put a will on the game that was a big difference maker. We have a lot to consider before Saturday. There are a lot of things we did not do well that we're going to have to fix. We're talking to the officials too much. We did rebound well with these guys, which was a big challenge coming into the game. So hats off to them. Myles Turner was spectacular. The 22 points, the 10 boards, and the 5 blocks were absolutely difference-making in the game. And look, a lot of guys, when we lost Nemhard in overtime, McConnell came in and was tremendous. Made plays, made free throws, was a leader out there. Really great stuff from him. And then Quentin Jackson in 4 minutes and 23 seconds, 4:23, came in the second quarter and gave us a burst when we were down 10, I think, and helped us chop half the lead off. So we're going to need everybody. Crowd was great, fueled by the skirmish, but, that's all part of it.
What do you make of your team being able to pull out these 3 wins this week when, on all 3 there were moments late, you were behind or tied or needed something huge?
Well, it shows a level of resilience and a level of resourcefulness. And really, what Mathurin's done these last 2 games is very special because he just decided that he was going to leave an indelible imprint on the game. And the 16 rebounds for the guy starting at the 2-guard position is unheard of. Okay, that's one thing. But that's a real demonstration of will. And then, it turns into a rat game like a lot of these are, with a lot of switching and a lot of junk defenses. And you got to have people that can make things happen. And he's one of those guys.
What was the difference in overtime, particularly that last minute and 6 seconds when you guys were down 1 and then 7-0 run to close?
I don't remember all the plays, but I know the crowd had a lot to do with it. They lifted our energy. They lifted our vibe, our spirit. And, it's a lot going on right now. A lot going on around the league, a lot going on with standings, with people being dinged up, this, that, and the other. And, right now we got to take care of ourselves. We got to get rested up. And Saturday's going to be another war.
What was your England perspective on the scuffle? I know you mentioned this, but in what ways did you see it lift your team down the stretch?
Well, it's got the crowd into it. It happened during a timeout. They had called timeout, so an indie crowd in that kind of situation is second to none. They get behind their team, and our crowd did, and it really lifted us.
Wanted to go back to Mathurin. Obviously, he's always been a guy that's been willing, I guess, in those moments to be the guy to try to go score. But you've obviously worked with a lot of him on efficiency. What did you like about just his approach, how he got to his shots, how he just tried to get to his offense, and what have you liked about him in each of those last 2 fourth quarters that he's been able to pull that off?
He went and got the ball, and then he went and scored it. These teams, these young, athletic, tenacity teams, they take you out of trying to run set offense, and the building's so loud you can't hear anything anyway. And so, we got to be a concept team. Without Ty out there, we have a different configuration, and so we've got to find simple ways to create problems. And one has got to be great defense, and holding these guys to 39 points in second half regulation was a big part of it. And we had a lot of 3-stop in a row, segments, and, anything less wouldn't have done it.
So on that note, I guess to go back to Myles, I mean, obviously the 5 blocks in that huge one with 18 seconds to go, and just what impressed you about what he was able to do around the rim? It seems like he had, he obviously didn't play as many minutes the other night, took Monday off with a contusion. It seemed like he kind of dove into having a little bit more energy and, just was able to find summon a lot at the rim, which would impress you about what he did.
Well, I talked to Myles before the game, and I said to him, you only should be thinking about one thing, and that is getting 10 rebounds or more in this game and every game. Because when he gets 10 rebounds, I mean, so many great things happen for us and him. And so he got 10. It led to those rebounds lead to offensive opportunities for him and others. And then look, the last block shot that Myles had with 18 seconds to go, that got the crowd even louder than the skirmish. I mean, it was deafening in there. And look, he had to cover ground to get there. I mean, he came from all the way across the lane to do that and shut that thing down.
Game. I mean, lots of plays I think pumped you up throughout this one, but what did that mean to you, especially as you guys needed that to seal it?
It meant a lot, man. It was a very emotional game. Obviously, tensions were high, desperation on both sides. So I think just to claw out a win, by any means necessary is big. And I think that we're also doing just an amazing job of finding a way, over these past few games, full week.
What have you made of that, what you just said? This week you guys have been in 3 games where it could have gone either way late, and you guys pulled out all 3. Does that mean something, and what does that say about the direction you're
going? We're preparing for the playoffs. You're going to have moments like that in the playoffs. So to be battle-tested, let's let it not be a surprise, and be able to control your emotions, when everything's high, and just, that's an underrated thing in this league.
That moment with Watford, what'd you see? What happened?
I had my back turned, but I saw him push Drew, and, it's a brotherhood in this locker room, man. We all look out for each other, and I wasn't really just about to let that go down. I'm a very, nonchalant, quiet kept person, but that just it rubbed me the wrong way. He's a lot bigger than Drew, and he put his hands on it, just something in me kind of flipped. So yeah, it was nothing crazy. You know what this league's about, but at the same time, just couldn't let him know that
These last 2 fourth quarters and overtimes from Ben Mathurin, what have you seen from him in those moments, and how he's able to elevate his game to what you guys need?
Ben is fearless, man. I think he's really grown over the past few years. I think that these moments, he really looks forward to them, and he's someone I got a lot of love for him, man. I think he's, looking like a little brother. I think he's really starting to, blossom, into the biggest moments, and I think he's doing a great job.
So obviously, you guys come in here. It's just 5 and 7 days. What did Rick just said basically he told you go get 10 rebounds in this one. I mean, just how much you obviously had the game Monday. You didn't play in a little few minutes last time. Did you kind of have a sense of responsibility, especially the way Brooklyn plays, that this was a game that you had to step up in?
Yeah, I need to respond. I think the past 2 games I played. I think it was Milwaukee. Then after that, whoever we just played. How this goes. Yeah, Dallas, Milwaukee, and Dallas. I spent the time feeling sorry for myself. Just like, man, I got benched in the fourth quarter. Like, I'm sitting here, just upset. But then, you realize that, anybody can go off at any given moment. You give it up to the team. Drew hits a big shot. You got to go in there and pump him up. Obi's playing some of the best basketball I've ever seen him play. You give that energy back to him. You can't spend time sulking and whatnot. And, that's a beautiful thing about this league. I think that, we had another one today. So I spent a lot of time this morning just reflecting and just, putting my mind to a different place. You don't, especially this time now where it's crunch time. You don't have time to sulk. You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. So, it was a goal to go out there and get 10 rebounds, let everything else, fall into place.
Expectation that this was a game that was going to be one at the rim as well, just the way they play. I mean, and is that something you geared yourself up for as well?
Yeah, no, I remember playing against them earlier this year in Brooklyn. They play. It's a frenzy. They get downhill. It's not like a real system, if you call it. They want the guys to go downhill, attack, and be aggressive. So we had to be ready for that.
What just obviously with playing without Ty, and obviously they were I think throwing a lot of junk defenses. It wasn't easy to get the ball at the rim. I mean, just what were kind of you guys going for offensively? And I guess you obviously had the one big shot that comes off the offensive rebound. What are you thinking in that moment, and just what in general were you trying to just provide offensively?
I think for me to be a screener, that was a big thing. Try to slip to the brown of the basket. I didn't want to spend too much time, floating around the perimeter. I knew the way they quarterback their defense. They just had a guy playing too, and You know, even for someone like Pascal, I knew he was going to see double teams all night or doubles on the ball. So just trying to make myself available in the best spots. I think it's easy to get impatient in this league. You don't get a couple touches or you don't shoot the ball, but I really try to keep myself engaged tonight. Just of not falling into that trap.
Collectively, I mean, how often could you kind of look around and see guys the way they battled through fatigue tonight? I mean, it seemed it was obvious that there was some heavy legs, and obviously, and that's a lot of travel, 5 and 7 days. What were some things that stood out to you about how your teammates, you and your teammates fought through just the level of fatigue of that?
Nobody complained. I think that's the biggest thing. It's easy to point fingers if something goes wrong or, you miss a defensive coverage and this and that. I think that, again, overall, everybody's kind of just collectively found a way to unite. And it's a rarity in this league. I've been on teams where that doesn't happen, So, I think it's a very cohesive group. We're building our chemistry for the playoffs. And, however many more games we have left, we got to take care of business.
Going back to the block at the end, your reaction afterwards, it felt like you were really soaking in the crowd noise. You had a moment with your dad. What were you feeling in that moment?
I think it was just like I said, it was an emotional game. I was letting out a lot of emotions for the past, couple games for myself. I think it was just my biggest goal today was to respond. And when you have big moments like that, I don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? This is it's a 10-second thing. After a big play like that, so you just take it all in. And I was just let my emotions shine.
Where does that block rank for you personally in your lifetime?
Oh, lifetime? Man, I gotta watch it again. I don't know. I think it was just for the moment of the game. It was huge. It's a game-saving block. I definitely put it up there. But it's nothing new for me personally. It's something I take a lot of pride in.
I asked you a lot of fourth quarter questions, but again today, you had those moments. What's this back-to-back been like for you, just to have this kind of impact in these bigger games?
It's tough. Playing heavy minutes, but it's good. It's good. I just feel like having two games that look like playoff games. Especially on the back-to-back, it's good to experience.
What was the difference you felt like late in this game and in the overtime for you guys to get over the hump? You kept tying it up, couldn't get over it, and then finally did late.
Tough, man. They're very good players, NBA players. So we pretty much just had to, to bring it back even, and take advantage in the overtime.
The scuffle with Myles that you ran into, what was your perspective on all that and your own involvement?
Man, I told the guys, if y'all trying to go to war, I'm gonna be the first guy out there. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't let nobody, pressure my teammates or anything. So, I didn't do anything too crazy because it was a very, very important game. If we were up 25, I probably would have got ejected. But I'm just being honest. But no, it was good. It just shows that I'm here for my team and we have each other's back.
What have you made of this week and you guys winning 3 games in a row that have all been crazy tight and right down to the wire?
Like I said, I think 3 games in a row, I don't think we ever experienced that. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, having those games, especially, at the end of the season, going to the playoffs, now we know that what to do exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like going to the playoff games and knowing if we're, down by this much, this is how we have to approach the game. I just feel like it's a great thing to experience, especially going to the playoffs.
How was this one different just because of the level of fatigue? This was 5 games in 7 days, second night of the second back-to-back in less than a week. It seemed like there was some tiredness out there. How were you guys able just to summon enough to get that done? And what does it say for you guys just, considering the amount of fatigue there?
Being honest, it's a lot of minutes. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to tell the guys, just go out there and play at max, and because you're gonna be able to rest after the game. You know what I'm saying? We have off day tomorrow, so take as much time as you need, as much time as you want, and come back on Saturday.
Just as far as figuring out how to get your shots against these guys, they obviously, threw some junk defenses at you, made it difficult, it seemed like, for everybody to get to the paint. You were obviously able to get there. Just how, over the course of this, did you figure out where your shots were going to be, especially when you had to go get them in the fourth?
I just feel like it's, when there's timeouts, we have the coaches, who are there to see a different way that we may not see it on the court. So, just watching film while we can and seeing what the defense gives us and take it.
The 3-shot foul you drew there, I mean, just what was kind of your perspective on that play? You know, how'd you manage to drive the contact? Basically, what did you think up the line there when you need to get it back to even?
I mean, I don't know what he had with me. The whole game he was trying to bump me and stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, I've been in those situations before. You know what I'm saying? So I know when a player feels some type of way, and I mean, I was able to to drive in and pull it back, shoot the 3, and I got fouled and I was able to knock him down.
Just how do you feel like you just grew as a player over the course of this week?
That's a great question. I got to be careful because I don't want to be cocky or anything, but I mean, as you may know, I'm a big believer myself, right? So any situations that is put in front of me, I think I'm gonna thrive and I think I'll be the best. So, just being in those situations, to me, it's normal and there's no pressure. So, just going out there and being myself, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to win.
Last thing, how important just was Myles tonight, and especially that block he gets at the end in overtime to put that thing away?
Very, very important. I'm very, very, very vocal with Myles because I know he can do a lot more sometimes. But yeah, I mean, he's been amazing. He's been one of the best defenders in the league. For the past few years. So, I mean, we have to give him credit when credit's due.